Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am Adam. This is Open Late, and tonight I am opening from the JoyToy Corvus Belly Infinity line, Octavia Grimsdottir, Icebreaker's Harpooner. I love that it feels like every import brand has the most ridiculously long names for for action figures and for toys. Like there's always way more than you need, right? Like now I'm giving it sort of all the description that the box has because I'll be honest, I know nothing about this character. I know nothing about um, this lore apart from the very limited amount of stuff that I've read from the website and what people have told me in the chat and stuff like that. But these figures are so much fun that it doesn't really matter. I mean, I when I was doing the thumbnail for the video, I honestly had to look at this name like 10 times. I wrote it a bunch of times. Like I wrote it for the title, I wrote it in the description, I wrote it on the thumbnail, and I still I just don't know who this is, right? So I don't have any connection to this character. I don't have any reference for this character. So I it's just words at some point, and I just don't I don't know. Does that make sense? I mean, it might sound a bit weird, but this is just a really cool action figure. This is like a rule of cool action figure. Joy Toy had these on sale. And I had kind of looked at this character a few times just in terms of, the accessories and the design and, just another female action figure. And with the Cyberzoic stuff coming sooner rather than later, I'm sort of on the hunt for some 118 stuff to build out that world a little bit more. What Cyberzoic is doing is really cool, but in my opinion, there's still room for more sort of headcanon and world building. So for that reason, I got the werewolf beast dog man and that figure from last. I don't even remember their names. I honestly don't remember their names. They're just awesome figures. So I'm gonna open this tonight, and then depending on time, depending on how I'm feeling, I might open this one as well. Which again, Dark Source, Boyang Feng. I don't know if there's an IP that goes with this. I don't know. I don't know anything about this one either. I don't know anything about anything. But JoyToy makes cool figures, so I buy them occasionally. Um, I'm going to take a look at the packaging for this, but before I do, just want to say hello to people in the chat. Speaking Moistly says good evening. Cobweb Collector is here. Hankin is here, coming straight from Australia, I do believe. Kelly Chase says, hey, what's going on, Kelly? Kelly is without a doubt the closest person geographically to me, and he's still pretty far away. Kelly says, actually been looking at this figure for a while, so definitely will be taking notes with this review. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, Kelly. This was on sale direct from JoyToy with free shipping. So now is the time to pick her up if you're thinking of doing it. Boyang Feng, I can't even remember where I've had him for a few weeks and I just haven't opened him. I think Boyang Feng was an AliExpress purchase. Every once in a while, AliExpress does like funny, weird pricing, and I think I got this guy shipped for like $19.87 Canadian or something, like an absurd price for this. But yeah, this again, I think this was 40 or 45% off of retail, so still not cheap, but still very good. Speaking Moistly, you hit the nail on the head. French girl and her pet loup-garou. And for anybody that doesn't speak French, that's pet werewolf. and it's awesome. I mean, if you watched last week, it's still on my, it hasn't left my desk. Great looking figure. But anyway, let's take a look at this. So just like with the French girl, the loup-garou, we get the picture on the front with a little bit of information. Like I said, Oktavia Grimsdottir, Icebreaker's Harpoon. I don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure her name is Oktavia Grimsdottir. Icebreaker's Harpoon, I imagine, is like her title, in the sense that, like maybe, I don't know. I don't know. But it's got this cool sort of wintry background in the back. I got this one, to be honest, because in Cyberzoic, there's the Tyrannus, and the Tyrannus's rider Kilara, and they man like the northernmost post, which seems pretty cold and wintry, and so she's kind of gonna accompany that crew. So 1/18 scale, 10.6 centimeters or 4.1 inches tall. So a relatively small figure. I mean, it's 1/18 scale, so that's what you get. They're 3 3/4 to 4 1/4, basically. Hagen says, I didn't notice that text and thought her name was NA2. NA2 is up in the top. I think NA2 is like the faction. But then down here, you also get, and I don't think it's going to make it out clearly, but you get her name again. It says Oktavia Grimsdottir, and then it says like Scoffin Icebreaker. I don't know. This Scoffin Icebreaker there, Icebreaker's Harpooner at the bottom. I don't know what any of that means. But that's okay. At least I can read that. This I can't read at all. This is 100% in Chinese. I have no idea what that says. And then on the side, we get, for modelers 15 years of age and above. Again, this is not a toy. Don't confuse this with a toy. Heaven forbid. Corvus Belly Infinity on the bottom. Corvus Belly Infinity on the top. And then on the back, we get a few more pictures of the figure and a few more details called out, and then the full loadout. I didn't even realize that she came with so much stuff. She comes with a whole bunch of really cool stuff, and then some sort of copyright stuff up there. Again, Corvus Belly Infinity is, as far as I can gather, a miniature-based tabletop game. It's a skirmish game. I don't play any tabletop games, so I don't know what it's similar to or sort of how it works. But if it's creating cool characters like this, and JoyToy is going to make cool action figures of it, I'm kind of like into the lore. Like, I want to learn a little bit more about the world and the different factions and all that kind of stuff. But in the meantime, I'm happy to just buy cool action figures. What I find a little bit interesting about JoyToy is that the boxes are different. So, this is just a box. You open it up and you get the clamshell out with the Dark Source stuff, and that was the same for the werewolf and the other figure. So all the Infinity stuff, as far as I know, comes like this. The Dark Source stuff, I have a couple figures from, and these come in like a Velcroed shut opening kind of window box. So it's completely different, which I think is interesting. Like, they're not just packaging everything the same. But anyway, no one's here for the packaging. We get a base, and we got a clear base, 2 clear bases for the wolf and his partner. We get a black base for this one, so I prefer very much the clear one, but life goes on. Let's get this out of the package. I'm boring myself by talking. And again, just like SH Figure Arts, all this stuff is kind of loose in the tray once you open that first part. they're even, the silica is even branded, which I think is kind of funny. It says JoyToy, keep away from children. Now, does that mean keep JoyToy away from children? Does that mean keep this away from children? Or is JoyToy instructing me to keep away from children? I mean, any of those could be true. Don't tell me what to do, JoyToy. Let's see. Hankin says Scoffin is an Icelandic mythological creature with the cunning of a fox and the cruelty of a cat. Looks like a cross between them. Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up. That's kind of cool. She has a very, very Icelandic sounding name. And from what I can sort of gather from the lore, the very, very limited amount of stuff that I've gathered from the lore, most of this world is sort of based in, based in the sort of idea, or based, predicated, I guess is a better word. It's sort of predicated on a world, like a post-Earth world, where all the factions are okay. She will not stand. There we go. All the factions are sort of based on Earth's geography. There's like French people, American people, among other things. There's also aliens and stuff, but that's neither here nor there. Kelly says keep the forbidden salt away from the children. Do not eat JoyToy. That'd be an expensive meal in most cases. They are not cheap, but if you find them on sale, they're not that bad either, relatively speaking, I suppose. Well, I mean, in the box, this framing seemed okay, but now she's kind of tiny. Let me. Oh, sorry about that. Disappeared for a second. She's still tiny. I mean, it's a small figure. It's a small figure. All right. Well, we'll work with that. Let's see. Okay, so the figure, I don't know why I put her on this base. She's probably going to stand up just fine. She's not weirdly heavy, disproportionate or anything like that. JoyToy has pretty fun proportions, I would say. Like they're not accurate by any stretch, but they're not crazy outlandish or anything like that. Like they feel functional, if that makes any sense at all. But they typically will stand up on their own, unless you get some of the weird ones. Like I have one with a giant backpack, and the giant backpack doesn't make much sense. It doesn't stand up very well. This belt is kind of funky, and I'm going to see if I can fix it, because it's like way, way, way down. Way down below her hip, and I want to try to get it up over. So JoyToy does a good job of layering everything, and when you get the figure out of the box, everything's layered quite nicely. The strap from her bag, is outside the jacket, but it's under the backpack, so nothing really moves. Everything is where you want it to be, and you're not sort of fighting the figure to typically have the accessories sit where they're supposed to. This belt issue aside, but easily remedied, and I think it looks much, much better now, as I've very quickly and easily adjusted it. Again, just like I found with the other ones, like good paint, plenty of paint, keeping with that sort of Arctic snowy aesthetic on the box. There's sort of like a snow paint on her boots almost, but it's not overpowering. So if you sort of had her in a non-Arctic setting, it certainly wouldn't feel out of place. Very vibrant colors. You got the yellows, you got the purples. The I'm gonna call this mauve on the pants. Really nice, bright, vibrant blue on the goggles with the white hair. The face sculpts is maybe the one thing with JoyToy that I'm not completely sold on, but at 1/18th scale, painted, you're not gonna get amazing sculpts. That's just not the way 1/18th scale works. I mean, that's not why you buy 1/18th scale either. You buy 1/18th scale to world build, and you buy 1/18th scale because they're fun, and they remind you of vintage GI Joes when you're a kid. They're just sort of a nice size to play with. They're a nice size in hand, and just like I said, just a lot of fun. As I said, the coat is sort of a soft rubber. The shirt is a little bit firmer, but everything else, the bag is a soft rubber. The backpack has soft rubber straps, all that kind of stuff. So lots of moving parts, but nothing really gets in anything's way. See if I can get her to stand, and we'll take a look at the accessories, of which she has quite a few. We will start with the least interesting, which is a hand. So she comes with a trigger hand, and then just sort of a standard C grip hand, and then another C grip hand to swap out for that trigger hand. Next, we get, where do I start? I mean, all of these are kind of cool accessories. So going with sort of the Arctic sort of thing, we get a ice climbing sort of axe, as well as an axe. I mean, I don't really know how else to describe it. They got nice silver paint. The axe has a hook on it. I don't know if that's going to hook on anywhere, but I hope it does. I don't know if I'm just seeing this and sort of wanting this to be true, or if this is a detail that they've included. There's sort of a hollow heart cut into the top of the axe blades, right here, right at the top, if you can see what I'm talking about. I might be reading into it too much. I mean, maybe they're not hearts, but they look like hearts to me. These are really cool accessories. These are really fun. And as I said, I'm hoping that those kind of clip on somewhere or can attach somewhere. Next, we get a pistol, a sufficiently futuristic pistol to suit my tastes very, very nicely. I am a huge fan of sort of, steampunk, near future, retro tech, whatever you want. Like, I don't like realistic weapons. I like my weapons to look sci-fi-ish, futuristic, but also old at the same time. This has a feeling that it's like a revolver, but a revolver from the future, if that makes sense. So that's a really, really cool accessory there. Then we get the machine gun, presumably, or some sort of like semi-automatic rifle. I don't know anything about guns. Surprise, if that's not clear and evident. So I don't know what this is. I don't know how to is it a machine gun? Is it a semi-automatic rifle? I don't know. So I just say all the things that I know pertain to firearms and hope that one of them is correct. But anyway, again, sort of a future tech, semi-futuristic, but not super futuristic to the point where it's unrecognizable or anything like that. And then last but not least, and I didn't even know that it came with this, she gets some sort of rocket launching type of looking weapon. A little more paint apps on this. You get the yellow, you get the silver, you get some gunmetal, but sculpted really, really nicely. And I like it. I mean, this is fun. This is gonna be I don't know that she's gonna carry this, but somebody's gonna get to use this. as I said, paint apps and just sort of accessories, just a really, really cool figure, a really, really fun figure. And when you sort of look at the Infinity line, and I will, I mean, I don't have a lot from the Infinity line. Let me get these out of the way. Get her in there. Oh, just there. They're there. But, in the Infinity line, as I said, I got these guys last week, or opened these last week. Like, he's huge. Look how big he is. Can I even fit him in shot? I can't even fit him in shot because I changed my angle too much. But the 4-inch figures are little. He's big. He's like 6 inches tall easily. The Infinity line to me is sort of gearing up to be a really, really fun line. And there's kind of something for everyone too. My complaint about Warhammer is that it's very, very heavy in the Space Marine guys, and there's not much else there. There's the Space Orcs, but the proportions on the Space Marines, in my opinion, are kind of echoed with the Orcs, where I just don't love them. Whereas with Infinity, there feels like there's a little more variety, if that makes sense. You got a werewolf guy, but you've also got the pan-oceanic troopers, which kind of remind me of Warhammer. Then you get some kind of green shirt military type people. And then you get Oktavia Grimsdottir. So there's like space truckers too. I forgot to mention those guys. There's like a male and female figure that are I think they're just like labeled like space trucker man, space trucker woman. And they're fantastic. They just look really, really cool. So definitely something that I'm very much keeping my eye on. If you're interested at all, I'll put the link in the description below after this video. But you can look at the source material on the Infinity or the Corvus Bell website, and get a little bit better feel for the world that they're building there. Now, we've gone 23 minutes, and I'm pretty much done with Oktavia Grimsdottir. Should I open Bo Yang Feng too? I feel like it feels like a good night to open Bo Yang Feng. That's what I'm thinking. Hank, and your space and money are probably happy that you prefer Infinity too. Yeah, but the problem is I prefer a lot of things. I buy way too much stuff. Speaking moistly, Warhammer has more than Space Marines and Orcs. Check out the Necrons, Timurids, and Tau. You probably would like the Tau in 40K. Okay, I do. I do like it. I just I will never play the game just because I don't have time, to be perfectly honest. And the lore feels like too dense to me. And I would struggle to do Warhammer without like army building. It's I would need, a dozen of like every color of Space Marines, and I still wouldn't know anything about the lore. It's like I would just have tons of them, but they don't really do it for me. Like I said, the Space Marines don't really do it for me. And then I would be the same with anything, because I feel like they're so it's so much about army building, and like that's the thing, like that's the whole thing with Warhammer 40K is that it's like armies. So you can't have like one. That would be weird. All right. Kelly says, heck yeah, open Bo Yang Feng. Kelly, I have seen the sexy nuns with big guns. And Solo says, yes, please open Bo Yang Feng. Okay, let's open Boyang Fang. So as I said before, the Dark Source stuff has a completely different aesthetic. Like the box is completely different. You get this, opening window box that has Velcro closures. The back is totally boring. There's nothing going on. Now, I wonder. This one doesn't say that it's not a toy. So that was so. Oh, yes, it does. Never mind. I take that back. It says not for children under 3. This product is not a toy. So still not a toy. JoyToy doesn't make toys, which makes sense because their brand name is literally toy. Anyway, there's Boyang Fang. Let's get him out of the box because this box is super boring. And this figure I'm really excited about because I also have from Dark Source the Steiner figure, which is sort of a complementary figure. They seem to be in like the same faction. If it's, I don't know, there's factions in Dark Source. Like I said, I don't know. He had some instructions. So I think I've mentioned this briefly, but like a lot of these JoyToy, so that's Boyang Fang sort of all geared up, but all of his gear comes off. You can strip it down to just like a very, very basic simple figure, and almost all the stuff is interchangeable. And then they give you instructions for how to disassemble it. So these are like pop and swap potential. The more of them you get, the more potential there is for pop and swaps. So I don't know if JoyToy people call them pop and swaps. This is that's what the Mythic Legions folks call them. But there he is in his plastic. These smaller ones are easier to open. That wolf was terrible to open. And this guy's not any easier. There we go. Completely fallen out of the tray. As expected. That's okay. No stand. So the werewolf guy was the first one that I got with the stand, and I was like, oh, I wonder, maybe I just haven't gotten the right ones. But this guy doesn't have a stand either, so I'm kind of thinking that it just depends which line you get, whether you get a stand or not. This guy's a little bit more simple. He gets the pistol holster on the belt. This guy feels a little bit like a bit of a Han Solo type character. He's got the vest. He's got the sort of low slung pistol holster. He's got some sort of canister on his back, which I didn't know he had. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that's for. Now it makes me wonder. Like I said, I got Steiner. Steiner's over here. They're kind of in the same gang, I guess, but Steiner doesn't have that thing on his back. The reason that I think they're in the same gang or military group or whatever they're in is because he fell over. Is because they come with the same helmet, and it's like the exact same. The paint apps are a little bit different, but exact same helmet. So I'm pretty sure that they are related in some way. If I knew anything about the lore, I would probably know whether that is in fact true or not. But yeah, just a good little figure. Lots of articulation in the JoyToy. They feel pretty solid, or as solid as a 4-inch tall figure can. Accessory wise, he comes with a pistol, a trigger finger on one hand, and then that open palm on the other. That open palm is something that none of the Infinity figures that I've gotten so far have come with, which is a little bit of a disappointment because I like that hand. He does come with some alternate hands, comes with alternate fists, and then he comes with alternate just sort of C grip hands. which is more or less what Steiner came with as well. He comes with a sword, and initially when I just sort of looked at the picture, I thought this is the same sword that Steiner comes with. It is not. This has a little bit of a curve to the blade, whereas Steiner's are like very, very straight, very blunt. There you go for reference. A very, very different blade indeed. Steiner's are a little bit thicker. As I said, a little bit straighter. So that's that. As I mentioned before, the helmet, these helmets are really cool. It doesn't feel to me like there's a shield or a lens or anything. It feels like you'd probably have like a heads-up display inside this helmet, which sort of lends itself to that near future tech that I really, really like. He also comes with one of these sort of near future revolver-esque looking pistols, which I believe will go in a holster that holster that he's got on his hip. And then he comes with a pretty compact looking, you know, semi-automatic machine gun. This can't possibly have, you know, like the same name as the last one that I looked at. But I like how much variety there is in JoyToy, like from one line to the next and from one figure to the next. Like I don't have this one yet in the, you know, 9 figures that I've gotten so far. So it's cool that I just sort of keep building up the arsenal with a bunch of random stuff. Let's see. Kelly says, I don't play tabletop, but the Warhammer lore is amazing. It's very Tolkienish in the sense that almost everyone has crazy deep lore. That's the problem. Kelly, I don't know if you've figured this out about me yet, but as soon as I get into lore at all, I go way too deep, way too quick, and it takes up way too much of my time because I can't. I'm not satisfied knowing like 1 or 2 things about lore. I need to know like everything about the lore, and so I just genuinely don't have the time to get into more lore. Hankin says, I'm super tempted by the Battle Sisters. Gothic armored battle nuns is badass. And speaking modestly says, yeah, nuns with big guns are cool. The big wolf guy is super cool. He is. And as I said, he's been on my desk since I opened him last week, and it's a really cool figure. It's a sleeping bag. It's a sleeping bag. I don't think that's accurate. I don't think that's a sleeping bag. There's no way that's a sleeping bag. It's got like a tube coming out of it. Unless he keeps it that's how he keeps it heated. Maybe like before he sleeps. What's going on, Eddie? Eddie is here. Eddie loves JoyToy, and Eddie's been like raving about JoyToy for so long that now I get it. Now I totally get why he was raving about JoyToy. The Collecting Brothers. I'm gonna guess that this is John. The deepest depths of lore will claim all who enter. Yeah, I mean, if I pick a lore that's like not even deep, I go way too deep. And I just want to know everything. As some of you may know, I kind of just got into it feels weird saying I just got into Motu. I just got into Masters of the Universe because of the Netflix stuff and because I picked up some of the figures. I knew about it forever. I mean, I have a passing knowledge on, you know, who's who. But like I got Zodak and I was like, what do you mean Space Cops? Now I want a Space Cops Zodak spin-off show. Kelly says, okay, everyone, you heard the man. He clearly wants us all to get him into some lore reading. No, that's exactly what I'm saying I don't want to do. And the problem is, I mean, between, you know, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, Cyberzoic, the Meta Travelers Legendary line, Armies of Ashmore. Like, there's all these original IPs, these new IPs that are in the process of building worlds, building out lore. And I'm enjoying that stuff so much more. Like, I just find that a lot of these newer IPs are sort of taking existing ideas, taking existing properties that we know and love, and then just expanding on them, or sort of developing, like growing them up in a weird way, if that makes sense. They're sort of taking ideas that we remember from when we were kids, and then just adding like weird layers that I never like would have imagined we would get from some of those IPs. But anyway, yeah, this is a cool figure. This is a really cool figure. They're both really cool figures. I don't know which one I think I'm leaning toward this one, as like I like this one more than that one. They're great for world building, and the sort of team aspect that's going on there is really, really fun. As I said, they have these cool matching helmets, and I don't know about you guys, but like when I was a kid, having removable helmets was like such a cool thing. Oh, that's really loose. Really loose. I'm gonna have to figure that out. I don't like that. I don't like that it's that loose. But the figure's really cool, like I said, and the accessories and stuff are I'm digging everything about this figure apart from that. Now I wonder if his sword, I don't think his sword will like mount anywhere on the figure, which is a little bit disappointing, but I can live with that. I think the helmet is loose because it's designed for like 3 different figures, so I wonder if like the head sculpts are a little bit different. Steiner, I think, has more armor, and so the helmet seems to like fit the character more, if that makes sense. I wonder if I can like heat this and reshape it a bit so that it just fits a little more snug, because like I said, it's really, really loose. But that's okay. I can live with that. It doesn't fit him perfectly either. I mean, it's 1/18 scale, so it's tough, but I'll make it work. I'll figure it out. It's just a cool character. I mean, they're all just cool. They're just cool figures, man. 1/18 scale is fun. They feel more like toys. In a weird way. Like 1/18 scale just feels like I'm just playing with toys, whereas 6-inch scale figures feel, I don't know, I feel like I'm a grown-up playing with action figures, but with these they just feel more like toys. I feel like I'm playing with them more. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense because I'm sort of like repeating the same descriptors, but yeah, a lot of fun. How is this? As I said, she's gonna be fun to pose with like the axes. But this thing, I think on the shelf, I think that might be how she gets posed on the shelf. But for right now, I'm leaning towards the axe and the pick. For a couple of reasons. I mean, 2 accessories in hand versus just 1, because I think, if you got that big rocket launcher, you're not going to have 2 accessories. And because I think you get a little bit more dynamic pose with whoops, her hand just popped off. That's embarrassing. They fit nicely, like the JoyToy accessories fit quite nicely in their hands. I don't think I had her hand all the way on, but I haven't heated this figure up at all either, so don't want to force it too bad. All right, let's see if I can get this one in without the hand popping off. Called up dolls. Yeah, playing with my dolls. I think it's funny that people get like offended when you call them dolls or whatever. But I mean, it is what it is. You're playing with toys. This is like kid stuff. No toe articulation. I just noticed that with Oktavia Grimsdottir, there's no toe articulation, whereas with all the other figures there is a toe articulation. So I guess that's just down to the boot sculpt, maybe just not really allowing it in the same way. But they pose up really good. Like I said, the articulation for a 4-inch figure is really fun, really good. Really not basic articulation schemes. So there you go. Scallywags tuck the axe and pick into the bag strap, I believe. Yeah, you could totally do that. And I'm sort of looking at it. You know, the bag, like I said, the bag is sort of loose fitting. You could probably fit at least one into the belt too. And on the back there, that belt comes sort of across. You could probably tuck something in there. She's still got more accessories than you're going to be able to store, you know, on the figure. And I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that when you get this many accessories. I'm not okay with that when you get like 2 accessories, but when it's a bunch of accessories, it's a lot more forgivable. And I find that these figures, you know, lend themselves to you know, a little more creativity, a little bit more, as I said, like headcanon. You know, in my headcanon, these guys are all in Cyberzoic, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but we'll see. And speaking moistly, they're not dolls; they are dollies. Yeah, I mean, they're just fun, right? Like I don't know why people get so hung up on you know, what they get called or who calls them what, or who cares. Just play with your dollies and enjoy them. If you don't enjoy them, don't play with them. Don't let people make you feel bad for playing with your dollies. Star, hey guys, just got home. What's going on? Well, I'm opening JoyToy action figures. Today I opened the Oktavia Grimsdottir as well as the Boyang Fang. So we got one figure from the Corvus Belly Infinity line and then one figure from the Dark Source line. They are a ton of fun, but they're open. You kind of missed it, Star. I was just about to wrap up, to be perfectly honest. It's been 45 minutes and I've got a couple more things that I want to unbox, but I'm going to record those videos and get them out in the next week or so. So I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. I'm sort of looking down at the things that I've got to unbox. I got some fun stuff, and I look forward to unboxing it and getting those videos out and being able to play with those toys as well. It's been an absolute pleasure. For anybody in the chat, I appreciate you. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for playing with me as I play with my toys. As I say all the time, it is more fun to play with toys with friends. I enjoy doing this. I hope you guys enjoy hanging out. no one lost any fingers. No, neither I nor the figures lost any fingers. But that's because I didn't have to use a knife. They had plastic wrap, which I cut off before. Thank you guys for hanging out. Collecting Brothers, thanks for the Valentine's Day stream. Yes, my my lovely wife Amanda is watching The Bachelor with her sister in the other room. So it actually worked out really, really well. They had something that they wanted to do that I had no interest in. So Valentine's Day wasn't ruined for anybody. But as I said, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Anybody in the chat, thank you. Anybody watching on the replay, I appreciate you as well. Not all time zones line up, so I totally understand. If you couldn't catch it live, maybe next time. Anyways, until next time, bye-bye.